Theophany. It's a Greek word meaning the experience of God's presence. The readings for this second Sunday of Lent tell us two stories of theophanies, humans who experience God's presence in unexpected ways. Given today's climate awash in fear, we also might be hoping for or expecting a theophany, God's presence, amidst our own time when we seem to be afraid. Global terrorism, the falling stock market, violence on our streets, the endless competitive and negative political rhetoric. We could use a theophany perhaps this Lent. Abraham in the first reading is quite old, and he wonders whether he got it right when he heard God promise that he would have a child. So God and Abraham perform an ancient Christian ritual. Abraham is instructed to take some animals, cut them in half, and place them on either side of the altar, and then to walk through them slowly, signaling to God that he would become like those bloodied animals if he forgets God's promises to him. Then in a trance-like state, Abraham experiences God's presence in the form of a smoking pot and a flaming torch, also moving through those animal parts. God promises Abraham that he will have a child. Abraham and Sarah become the parents of a great generation, multi-generations, as multiple as the sands on the seashore or the stars in the sky. They receive a new land. Refugees, Abraham and Sarah, follow God's promise and experience that theophany. In the gospel, Peter, James, and John think they're going up the mountainside basically to have a quiet afternoon of prayer with Jesus. But there something unexpected happens. Jesus appears in flaming white garments, Moses and Elijah on either side of him, and a voice from the cloud saying, "This is my chosen one." Peter, James, and John have a theophany, the experience of God's presence that sears their hearts and minds and gives them the strength to move back down that mountain into Jerusalem with Jesus to meet his destiny. Now, those stories are for long ago. But what about today? Are theophanies still around today? I must admit, a couple of weeks ago, if I had been asked that, I could say, well, I wouldn't mind a theophany right now. God, give me those little numbers on this little ticket that would get me that billion-dollar lottery, but no such luck. But that weekend, I did have a theophany of sorts. I came here to Pax Christi to the 5 p.m. Mass on Sunday night. There was a baptism. And after communion, Father Bill invited the young couple to bring their son up on the altar to be welcomed by the community. As the proud young couple raised their child high, Archer Earl, and presented him to the welcoming applause of the community, I thought to myself, if God could bring a babe into this world, which so right now seems bent on self-destruction, then maybe this Lent, I can just open wide the doors of my own heart a little bit to work for collaboration rather than competition, to work for inclusion rather than exclusion, and maybe to have an attitude of hope rather than an attitude of fear. Theophanies, God's presence is among us. Discover yours this Lent.